Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into the world of energy giants today, specifically NTPC,
NTPC.
India's largest power generation company.
In their kind of fascinating transformation into this driving force for a sustainable future in India.
Yeah.
We've got their 2023-2024 integrated annual report. And trust me, it's not just about keeping the lights on anymore.
No, it's a lot more than that.
There's some really cool stuff in here.
Yeah, there's some really interesting insights in this report
Yeah.
about their growth, their push for efficiency, and how they're tackling sustainability.
For example, you might be surprised to hear that NTPC isn't just building power plants, they're planting millions of trees every year.
Oh, wow.
It's all part of their big picture plan. But first, let's talk about their core business, power generation.
All right, well, the headline number is really impressive. They added a whopping 3,924 milliW
3,000.
of commercial capacity, bringing their total to 75,958 milliW across their entire portfolio. That's enough to power a lot of homes and businesses.
Wow.
That is huge. So how does that kind of growth translate to their bottom line?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. NTPC's revenue jumped by a considerable 21% year over year, reaching a staggering 1,063,730 crore.
1,063,730 crore.
Yeah, clearly their expansion strategy is paying off.
Okay, so they're growing fast, but are they doing it efficiently? This report talks a lot about their plant load factor, or PLF. What does that even mean for someone who doesn't live and breathe power plants?
Imagine a car engine. You wouldn't want it idling all day, right?
Right.
You'd want it running at optimal performance when you need it. PLF is kind of like that for power plants. It measures how efficiently a plant is operating near its maximum capacity.
So higher PLF means they're squeezing more power out of their plants.
Yeah.
Which should be good for both their output and their costs.
Exactly. And NTPC's coal-fired plants are rocking an average PLF of 77.25%. That's significantly higher than the national average, which is only 69.49%. Really highlights their focus on operational efficiency.
That's impressive. But we all know coal comes with its own set of challenges, especially when it comes to sustainability. How is NTPC balancing its existing coal operations with its ambitions for cleaner energy sources?
That's a key question. And it's clear from this report that NTPC is on a mission to transform its energy mix. They're actively expanding their renewable energy portfolio, with a target of reaching 60 GW of renewable capacity by 2032.
Wow, 60 GW from renewables. That's a massive jump from where they are now. What kind of projects are they undertaking to make that happen?
They're going all in on solar and wind energy, securing land for large-scale solar farms, and harnessing wind power across different regions of India. And it's not just about building new projects. They're also finding innovative ways to speed up their renewable capacity addition.
The report mentions they're shifting away from just following pre-designed plans for their renewable projects. Instead, they're taking control of sourcing and aggregating components themselves. Why is that such a big deal?
It's a smart move. By handling the supply chain directly, they can potentially reduce costs, streamline project timelines, and even encourage innovation within the renewables sector.
So they're getting more hands-on with their renewables strategy. But let's be realistic. Building all this new infrastructure requires serious capital. How are they managing the financial side of this energy evolution, especially when it comes to debt levels?
Well, their financial performance is robust, with significant revenue growth allowing them to invest heavily in these new projects. However, as you rightly point out, debt levels are something to watch closely. The report does acknowledge this and outlines their debt management strategies, but it's definitely a factor that analysts and investors will be scrutinizing.
It's a tightrope walk, balancing growth with financial prudence. And it's not just about the money. There's also the environmental impact to consider. How is NTPC tackling its carbon footprint as it expands?
They've set some ambitious carbon reduction targets, aiming to significantly decrease their emissions intensity over the coming years. And it's not just talk. They're backing it up with concrete actions.
Yeah, I was struck by the fact that they're planting 1 million saplings every year. That's not exactly what you'd expect from a power company. What else are they doing to walk the walk on sustainability?
They're exploring a range of options, from carbon offset projects to energy efficiency improvements within their existing operations. But one of the most interesting initiatives is their foray into green hydrogen.
Now that's what I call thinking outside the coal mine. Tell us more about this green hydrogen venture and why it's so significant.
Green hydrogen is a clean fuel produced using renewable energy sources, like solar and wind. It's being hailed as a potential game changer. because it can be used in a variety of sectors, from transportation to heavy industries, helping to decarbonize those hard-to-abate areas.
So NTPC is positioning itself at the forefront of this green hydrogen revolution, which could have a huge impact on India's energy landscape and its efforts to reduce carbon emissions.
Absolutely, and it's clear from this report that they're not shying away from embracing new technologies and approaches. As they transition towards a more sustainable future,
It's a fascinating blend of ambition, innovation, and responsibility. But let's not forget about the human element. This transformation isn't just about megawatts in technology. It's about people.
you're spot on, and that's where their community initiatives come into play. NTPC recognizes that sustainable development goes beyond just environmental concerns. It's about creating a positive social impact as well.
And they're not just throwing money at the problem. They're taking a hands-on approach. The report highlights their Girls Empowerment Mission, GEM,
Yeah.
which has grown into a nationwide movement, supporting over 10,000 girls.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a powerful example of how they're investing in the future, not just through infrastructure, but also by empowering communities and creating opportunities for a more equitable society.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from power plants to planting trees, from financial performance to green hydrogen. But I'm curious, what are your initial takeaways from this deep dive into NTPC's world?
I'm struck by their commitment to transforming themselves from a traditional power generator into a true leader in the sustainable energy space. Their actions show they're not just talking about change, they're driving it.
And for you listening, we'd love to hear what stood out to you so far. What are your thoughts on NTPC's journey and the path they're forging? Let's continue the conversation in part 2. Welcome back. We're digging deeper into NTPC's transformation. One thing that really struck me is how they're approaching this whole energy evolution thing with a sense of balance.
Yeah.
They're not just flipping a switch and going 100% renewable overnight. It seems like they're strategically managing their existing coal operations while simultaneously ramping up their green energy initiatives.
That's a great observation. They're walking a tightrope, ensuring a stable energy supply for India's growing needs, while taking those big leaps toward a more sustainable future.
And speaking of balance, they're not just focused on the environmental side of things. It seems like they're deeply invested in social initiatives as well.
Absolutely. They understand that true sustainability goes hand in hand with social responsibility. It's about uplifting communities and creating a positive impact that extends beyond their power plants.
The report talks about their work in areas like education, healthcare, sanitation, and skill development. It seems like they're going above and beyond the traditional role of a power company.
Definitely. They're not just checking boxes. They're taking a proactive approach to address social issues and contribute to the well-being of the communities they operate in. And that's where their commitment to corporate social responsibility, CSR, really shines through.
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about CSR, but it's another to see it in action. Do any specific initiatives stand out to you?
Well, their Girls Empowerment Mission, or GM, is incredibly impactful. It started with a vision to create a brighter future for girls and has now blossomed into a nationwide movement, benefiting over 10,000 girls.
That's amazing. By investing in education and empowerment for girls, NTPC is not just contributing to social progress, but also laying the foundation for a more inclusive and equitable future.
Precisely. They're recognizing the potential within every individual and providing opportunities for them to thrive. And that's what sustainable development is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Creating a world where economic growth goes hand in hand with social progress and environmental responsibility.
It's like they're weaving all these different threads together. Efficient power generation, renewable energy expansion, community development, and social empowerment. It's a holistic approach to creating value for all stakeholders.
And let's not forget the importance of their workforce in this transformation. The report highlights their efforts in employee training and development, ensuring they have a skilled and motivated team to navigate this energy evolution.
That makes sense. You can't achieve these ambitious goals without a dedicated and capable workforce. They're investing in their people, recognizing that a company's greatest asset is its employees.
It's a reminder that behind all these impressive numbers and initiatives, there are real people working tirelessly to make it all happen. But let's zoom out for a moment and consider the bigger picture. NTPC's journey is closely intertwined with India's energy landscape and its ambitious goals for a cleaner future.
You're right. India has set some bold targets for renewable energy adoption, aiming to significantly reduce its reliance on fossil fuels and combat climate change. And NTPC is playing a pivotal role in achieving those goals. Their massive renewable energy expansion plans are directly contributing to India's green energy transition.
Absolutely. And this transition has implications on a global scale. As one of the world's fastest growing economies, India's shift towards cleaner energy sources can inspire and influence other nations to follow suit.
It's a story of innovation, ambition, and responsibility, showing that economic growth and environmental stewardship can go hand in hand. But it's not all smooth sailing, right? There are challenges and complexities along the way.
Of course, the energy sector is constantly evolving, and NTPC is navigating a complex web of factors, from technological advancements to regulatory changes, from market dynamics to geopolitical shifts.
One of the challenges that often comes up when talking about large-scale energy projects is land acquisition. How is NTPC addressing that, especially when it comes to building those massive solar and wind farms?
That's a valid concern. Securing land for large-scale renewable energy projects can be a major hurdle. But NTPC's strong presence across India gives them an advantage. They've built relationships with state governments and communities over the years, which helps them navigate these challenges more effectively.
So it's not just about having the technical expertise, it's about building trust and collaboration with local stakeholders. That seems crucial for ensuring the smooth execution of these projects.
Exactly. And it's another example of how NTPC is taking a holistic approach, considering not just the technical and financial aspects, but also the social and environmental implications of their actions.
Speaking of financial aspects, we touched on debt levels earlier. It's clear that NTPC is making significant investments in its growth and sustainability initiatives. But how are they managing that debt burden responsibly?
It's a balancing act. While increased debt can fuel growth, it also comes with financial obligations and potential risks. The report highlights their debt management strategies, emphasizing their focus on maintaining a healthy financial profile.
It sounds like they're walking a tightrope,
Mm.
but they're doing it carefully, with a clear understanding of the risks and rewards. And it's not just about managing debt. It's also about ensuring their investments generate strong returns.
Right. Their financial performance is closely linked to their operational efficiency. We talked about their impressive plant load factor earlier, and that's a key indicator of how effectively they're utilizing their assets.
So it's not just about building new power plants. It's about maximizing the output and efficiency of their existing infrastructure. That seems crucial for ensuring their financial stability and their ability to continue investing in the future.
Absolutely, and it's not just about coal-fired plants. They're applying the same principles of efficiency and optimization to their renewable energy projects as well.
It's like they're taking a data-driven approach to everything they do, constantly analyzing and refining their operations to improve performance and reduce costs.
That's a key takeaway here. They're not just relying on intuition or traditional methods. They're leveraging data and technology to make smarter decisions and drive better outcomes.
And that data-driven approach extends to their sustainability initiatives as well. They're not just planting trees randomly. They're strategically selecting locations and species to maximize their carbon offsetting potential.
They're also using technology to monitor their emissions, track their progress toward their carbon reduction targets, and identify areas for improvement. It's a comprehensive and integrated approach to sustainability woven into the fabric of their operations.
It's impressive to see how they're connecting all these dots: financial performance, operational efficiency, technological innovation, and sustainability. It's not just about doing things right. It's about doing the right things.
And that brings us back to the importance of leadership and vision. NTPC's management team is setting a clear direction, communicating their commitment to sustainability, and empowering their employees to be agents of change.
It's a reminder that transformation doesn't happen by accident. It requires strong leadership, a shared vision, and a willingness to embrace new ideas and approaches.
Absolutely. And it's inspiring to see how NTPC is leading by example, demonstrating that large-scale energy companies can be at the forefront of the transition to a more sustainable future.
But let's not forget that this journey is still unfolding. There are challenges ahead, and the energy landscape is constantly evolving. What are your thoughts on the road ahead for NTPC?
Well, they've laid a solid foundation. But the real test lies in their ability to adapt and innovate in the face of new challenges and opportunities. The energy sector is becoming increasingly complex, with the rise of new technologies, changing consumer demands, and evolving regulatory frameworks.
You're right. It's not just about reaching those renewable energy targets. It's about staying ahead of the curve, embracing disruption, and constantly seeking ways to improve their performance and their impact.
And that's where their focus on research and development will be crucial. They need to invest in exploring new technologies, such as green hydrogen, energy storage solutions, and smart grid systems, to ensure they remain competitive and relevant in the long term.
So it's about balancing ambition with pragmatism, long-term vision with short-term execution, and continuous improvement with a willingness to embrace the unknown.
It's a complex equation, but NTPC seems to be approaching it with a clear head and a determined spirit, and that's what makes their story so compelling. It's a story of transformation and progress, a journey that's still unfolding, with lessons to be learned and successes to be celebrated along the way.
It's a story that reminds us that change is possible, even within massive organizations operating in complex industries. And it's a story that inspires us to believe in the power of human ingenuity and collaboration to create a more sustainable future.
And now, we invite you to join us in part 3, as we explore what NTPC's journey means for you, and how their story might influence the global energy landscape.
Okay, so we've explored NTPC's impressive growth and their ambitious sustainability initiatives, and even their commitment to social responsibility. But at this point, you might be wondering, like, what does this all mean for me?
Right.
Yeah,
That's the question we always need to ask. It's easy to get lost in the big numbers and corporate jargon, but ultimately it's about how these actions translate to real-world impacts for people like you.
exactly. So let's break it down. NTPC's focus on boosting their plant load factor, or squeezing more power out of their existing plants, has a direct impact on your electricity bill.
Yeah. Think of it this way. A more efficient system means less wasted resources and potentially more stable electricity prices for households and businesses.
And their massive push towards renewable energy. Well, that's not just about saving the planet. It's about breathing cleaner air and living in a healthier environment.
Right. As NTPC builds more solar and wind farms, it contributes to a reduction in carbon emissions, which directly benefits public health and the well-being of communities.
And those community initiatives we talked about, like empowering girls through education, or improving sanitation in villages, those aren't just feel-good stories. They're about building a more equitable and prosperous society for everyone.
NTPC's commitment to social responsibility goes beyond just writing checks. It's about investing in human capital, empowering communities, and creating a ripple effect that benefits us all.
So whether you're flipping on a light switch, breathing in fresh air, or simply hoping for a more just and sustainable world, NTPC's journey matters.
Their actions have a far-reaching impact, shaping the future of energy in India and beyond. And it highlights a crucial point. Understanding these complex systems helps us make informed choices as consumers, as citizens, and as global citizens.
It's all connected. Knowledge is power, right? By taking these deep dives, by learning about the companies that power our world, we become more conscious and engaged participants in this energy evolution.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected, and that the decisions made by these energy giants ultimately affect us all.
Now, as we wrap up our exploration of NTPC, we want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. With their ambition, their push for efficiency, and their commitment to sustainability, what kind of future do you envision for India's energy landscape?
And how might NTPC's model inspire other energy giants around the world to step up and embrace a more sustainable path?
Those are questions worth pondering. The energy transition is a global challenge, and companies like NTPC are showing us what's possible when innovation meets responsibility. So keep those questions buzzing in your mind. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Share your thoughts, your insights, your hopes, and your concerns. Let's continue exploring together.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.